This week, we saw the release of Tom Cruise's upcoming movie, Digger. Lots of Oscar buzz about him, and you know, I understand why he looks completely different. He's got a lot of makeup on, gray hair. He looks a lot more like me than he does Tom Cruise. But he's got a cowboy hat on, and he it looks like he's delivering an entertaining performance. But watching the trailer has really unlocked an issue for me here, and it's one that's been seething underneath the surface, and now it's just boiling over. I am tired of this trend that's happening these days. Well, let me just show you an image of the movie first, just one image. Here's just one of the images of Tom Cruise in Digger. Pretty impressive with the makeup and the cowboy attire. It definitely looks like a role that we haven't seen Tom Cruise in before. Hence all the Oscar buzz already. It's a decently composed shot too, with the painting behind him, but it's an illustration of what really has been driving me crazy in movies lately. Look at how muted the colors are. I mean, I'm a little over this trend of movies having so little color. Now, look, some directors are known for it. Robert Eggers, for example, I mean, that's all he does. He's got a new movie coming out, Werewolf. He does all these horror films. Here's a frame of Werewolf. Here's an image of Aaron Taylor Johnson in Eggers's upcoming Werewolf. And I mean, this is what he does, right? We've seen it in his movie Witch, in Nosferatu. Let's face it, the guy just hates color. And so every movie that he makes has this color palette. And I know some people love it. And some people, I guess for them, it helps create this horror mood. So you see what I mean, right? I don't like this trend. I don't know. I know I'm making that awfully clear right now. You see it a lot in Westerns, right? Used to be back in the 1950s, 1960s, Hollywood Westerns had color. They had rich, vibrant colors. But in the modern world, most Westerns, or a lot of Westerns, have either muted colors, or they have like kind of a sepia tone, and that's supposed to represent, the Old West, I guess. But Tombstone had the audacity in 1993 to embrace color. Look at the skin tones. Look at the background. Look at how brightly lit it is. I mean, this movie kind of celebrates color. Here's another screenshot of Tombstone. And I mean, again, the vibrancy of the color, the warm skin tones. You can see the sort of sweat on their faces. It's Tombstone really illustrated that you can portray the Old West and still be colorful, still have saturation. Hey, Tombstone celebrates color, and now it's celebrated as one of the best Westerns, certainly in modern times. Now, another culprit who's responsible for this trend, or partly, is Zack Snyder. Now, Zack Snyder has made some colorful films, and I especially like The Watchmen. But his DC films, Man of Steel, and especially Batman versus Superman, lack color. I mean, they're superhero movies that are muted, are muting the colors. I mean, Superman wears blue, he wears red. Think of the Christopher Reeve movies. Even think of Superman Returns. right, with Brandon Ruth that came out, and Kevin Spacey years ago. Even that had more color than these Zack Snyder films. So when Justice League came out, I hesitated at first. I didn't know any of the history of what was going on behind the scenes. But when Justice League came out, I didn't want to see it because I was tired of Zack Snyder's muted colors, let alone the fact that the movies were just bad. I mean, they were overlong. He didn't know when to end these action scenes. There were just all kinds of issues that I had with Zack Snyder movies, at least the DC films. Well, imagine my surprise when I watch the theatrical release of Justice League, and it's vibrant with colors. Let alone it's kind of funny. It's the action's actually well directed, and I had a good time watching the theatrical version of Justice League. And here I thought, hey, Zack Snyder learned his lesson. Isn't that great? Then I found out what happened. I found out Joss Whedon had to take over, and he basically directed the theatrical release, and that kind of made a lot of sense. Now, in my world, Joss Whedon was a better filmmaker than Zack Snyder. I mean, Buffy was acclaimed, Angel was acclaimed, Firefly, Serenity, The Avengers. This dude was a great filmmaker. Then all of a sudden, we found out he was a real a-hole, right? Personally, he was a terrible person. This is alleged. And now, because of that, everybody thinks Zack Snyder is a much better filmmaker. So they were clamoring. Fans were clamoring for Zack Snyder to release his 4-hour version, and he did. And not only is it overlong, not only do the fights go on, the fight sequences and so many things go on and on and on, but he drains the color out. Look, I'm going to show you a couple of frames here. Now, I'm no technical whiz here. I had to do the best I could to try to pick two movie frames, one from Joss Whedon's Justice League and the other from the Zack Snyder cut. I couldn't find two identical frames. There are far cleverer people than I who can do that online, but I picked two frames that show the three of the main, superheroes. And here's the Joss Whedon one, right? So colorful, absolutely embracing the reds, the gold, the blues, of course. A brightly lit, sort of lighter Justice League. I must admit, it's certainly a film that I enjoyed more than most people did for whatever reason. Now, here's a different shot altogether, but still the same three characters in the Zack Snyder cut. Now, granted, obviously, there's different imagery here. There's a fire behind him, so lest you think that's the reason for the difference, it really isn't. You know what I'm talking about if you've watched Man of Steel or Batman versus Superman. It's the same deal with the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League. He absolutely had to drain the color away from the Joss Whedon version so that it looks more melancholy. I don't know. It's some sort of, I guess he's trying to ground it a little more in our sort of real world environment. And he thinks that means you have to mute the colors. I pointed this out once before and I got attacked. I mean, I got bombarded by Snyder fans. I didn't even know they were out there, but they were Snyder fans just attacking me like I was completely outnumbered. And frankly, I'm not even sure they were like real people. I openly wondered if they were like Snyder agents. Like in the movie, like the Superman movie that came out last year, Lex Luthor shows these monkeys behind, computer keyboards, basically trolling and that's what these people seem like. I wonder now if James Gunn didn't troll Snyder fans with the monkey scene. But by the way, didn't like that movie either. Like I liked some of the actors, and I liked that last year's Superman had color, but also not a fan of that movie either. I get it. Zack Snyder wants us to feel like these superheroes are human beings too, and they have depression and they're melancholy, and we want the movies to kind of reflect that melancholy feel. Oh, give me a break. This is a superhero movie. Superheroes wear colorful costumes. Show off the colorful costumes. It's madness. I'm going to end by showing you one more frame of this Tom Cruise movie, Digger. I mean, why? It's like it's not black and white and it's not full on color. It's just some weird place in between. And I don't know who finds this desirable. Who is motivated to spend $8 to $12 even for a matinee to watch this kind of color? By the way, the composition of the picture looks great, right? Clearly the filmmaker knows how to compose a shot. But I don't get the color scheme here. Who suggested this is a good look? I mean, my reality is when I look outside, the trees are green. The bricks are brown. The people have normal skin tones. You know, the sun is shining in the sky. Color looks like color in the real world. It doesn't look like these frames that I've been showing you. That's not reality. And it's not even a fun unreality. It's like these directors kind of want to go black and white with their films. They just don't have the balls to do it. If you want to go black and white, go black and white and play with light and shadows. Either go black and white or go color. Color catches your eye. What we just saw from that Digger frame does not catch my eye. I mean, I like the framing of it. I like the composition, but the color sucks. The color looks sickly, to be honest, and almost a slight hint of green. Like, who wants that? If I saw that image on my old HD TV when we had to use component cables, you know, those red, blue, and green cables, I would think one of the cables was loose, and I would be trying to plug it back in because that is not what color is supposed to look like. You know, Ty West, when he made Pearl, the sequel to X, he initially wanted to make it in black and white. Well, this is what I heard. Maybe this is just rumor, but reportedly, he had heard that another horror film was going to go black and white. So, you know what he decided? I'm going to go full on color saturation. And he almost pays tribute, really, to The Wizard of Oz. After all, Pearl has a farm girl who wears overalls. There's an appearance by a scarecrow. So it's kind of a horror tribute to, you know, movies like The Wizard of Oz, we'll say. And so he really, you know, utilizes vibrant colors. That's a director with balls. That's a director with courage. I'm going to go one way or I'm going to go the other. I don't know what these filmmakers are doing. Eggers, these other guys, I don't know what they're doing. They don't have the balls to go black and white. Maybe they don't have the talent to be able to utilize black and white the way someone like an Orson Welles knew how to do, or even Robert Rodriguez in Sin City. But they don't want to actually have color either. All you have to do is turn on the camera on Tom Cruise and it's going to have realistic color. So they actually had to go out of their way to make it look like shit. You know what's going to happen? 20 years from now, our younger generation are going to watch some movie from this era and they're going to ask their parents, what the hell happened? Did we run out of color back in the 2020s? Like, why do so many movies look like shit? And we're not going to have an answer for that. But the good news is there are filmmakers out there that are still making colorful movies. And, you know, trends come and go. And I'm sure this is a trend that will end hopefully sooner rather than later.